my God, a plane just crashed into a building. Cannot believe it.
I don't know, I started coming down here, I guess was November of 2002 with the flags heavy duty. But before that was just matches. A lot of the matches were like, you know, early on, onto the November 2001. Post 9/11 world, well, that's a tough one. I don't think people really realize or get the full immensity of what happened that day, even in New York, because they suppress their feelings a lot. And doesn't allow them to truly express those and explore those feelings.
That's when the plane tipped, see? 8:48 the first plane?
Yes.
9:05, the 17-minute lap, the second plane.
Wow.
In the beginning, everybody thought it was an accident, you know, an airplane, but then they realized it was terrorist.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that's why I made the clock.
When did you make this clock?
I made it for the anniversary.
Come on, take a picture.
Georgia. West of Georgia. Oh boy, okay. I'm here like today so far. I counted. They took my picture 65 times so far. That's the World Trade Center and over here. Wait around. It makes them smile. Maybe for one instance they forget a little bit.
It does.
You know what I mean? They're gonna go back to whatever country they come from. They're gonna show them when they took the picture, like you're gonna show them in Chicago the picture we took, right? There's 192 countries, I think it is. So far, 163 countries have taken pictures. I ask where you're from.
You will be able to get the perspective from people coming down here and New Yorkers as well, on how they're dealing with everyday lives. Because you can always draw a story every time I exchange the matches for a patch also, and also when I just meet people, you draw a lot from that.
Okay.
Matches bring up a lot of notions. It evokes a lot of feelings.
Do you feel safer now, 2 years later, after what happened?
Yes, 100% so. Because we got the right president in there, as far as I'm concerned. Believe me, that's what I feel. President Bush doing fantastic.
No, you know, tell you the truth. Hey, look, he stole the election. They wanted him that bad because they thought Gore was a whatever the case may be. They didn't think he's strong enough, but you know what? Now they got a president that will bring in more problems due to the fact that he has his own personal agenda.
Is he?
You know, it's the hardest thing to send a country into war and get people killed, believe me.
It is. It really is.
Mr. Clinton didn't want to do it for 8 years, him and his old lady, right?
Every cabinet member, with the exception of Colin Powell, has not served. They don't understand. Colin Powell is a puppet, I would say, because he has not stood forthright in his own intentions.
Just go down here and see where the 3,000 bodies are.
Yeah.
If they want to rebuild Iraq, let them rebuild America first. Because you have homeless, you have people dying in the streets, suffering. Why? This is just a big void in people's lives. But there always was, there was always a void in our lives. Always. Think an ordinary book of matches is a common object, usually taken for granted. Any common object in this world is taken for granted, you know? And it's just a metaphor, I guess, and an analogy. You should never take anything for granted, especially your freedom. Knowledge, school, because in America, there's still a free system. Public school system. There's free public school system. Take advantage of that. And, well, basically, I cut out the silhouette of the former skyline, our beloved former skyline, and created this sort of effect when I strike. You create the footprints left behind by the towers. It's also indicative on how people didn't retrace their footprints. They took the Long Island Expressway home on a daily basis to and from work, right? They're missing. They're not here anymore. Therefore, their footsteps were never retraced back home.
Wow.
They're lost in the dust.
It's pretty deep.
And that's what this represents.
That's very deep.
And if you want to come down to the site, I give them away. I don't sell anything here. I'm not a vendor. I'm an artist to sort of produce this type of work in order to
I see your work.
open the minds up more.
You see some people still crying. You see them.
Think before you act.
I like your
You know, think before you act, and there'll be more footprints to cover.
Yeah.